All right, it's two deans today. Two deans.
Could be dangerous.
Yeah, right. I don't think I mean, I've been doing this 13 years. I don't think I had another dean on.
Well, you obviously didn't talk to Dean Martin.
Well, didn't talk to Dean Martin, and who else would there be? Dean Edwards is a comedian, a very funny comedian. But I had Dean Edwards on, so I'm wrong.
There's not many of us, man.
You know what's weird is Dean is such an old school name. There's no old school names like Frank, Fred, and Dean. Those names are gone.
Did you like your name as a kid?
I did because I knew I was named after James Dean, and it really threw me into the world of automobiles and art and acting and of course fashion. All of that was my early stuff, Rebel Without a Cause, but also the masterpiece of Giant, which is just insane to me.
Yeah.
It's a saga. Who were you named after?
I just think it was a name that my mom and dad chose. It was either going to be Drew or Dean.
Yeah. And did you like it growing up or no?
It was different. I mean, even back in the 70s, it was even more rare. I mean, how many Deans have you met in your life? You can probably count on two hands, right?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the worst is when you go to fucking Starbucks or a coffee place and they go, "What's your name?" And you go, "Dean." And they go, "What?" It's like, "Dean." And then this is when you know you're old, you're like James Dean. And then they go, "What are you even talking about?"
So funny, man. Yeah, I have a much better appreciation for it now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I met you at Jerry Cantrell's barbecue.
Oh, shucks, man.
Yeah, we were there. I know your brother, who said he's going to be doing this show for the last 9 years. But also, we have a mutual friend. I've seen Stone Temple Pilots every tour there was. Charlie Harris, the old lighting guy, uh,
Oh, yeah.
was a great friend of mine. So every time you guys came to San Francisco, I would just have the full setup, sit at the lighting rig, and watch the band.
Charlie, yeah. How's he doing?
I haven't talked to him in easily 10 years, so I don't know
Oh,
because
Lordy.
he's one of those guys that just was permanently on the road.
Yeah.
So impossible to see him.
How about those parties Jerry puts on? My goodness.
Oh man, I'm a comedian now, so I wrote a bit after the party where I said, I'm at that age now where you say, I just saw him. So you're at a barbecue like Jerry's, and then a couple weeks later they go, Billy passed. And you're like, what? I just saw him at the barbecue. I'm at that age.
Yeah, he throws down, man. That's a heck of a party.
Yeah, I love him. So thanks for doing the show.
Of course.
Obviously been listening to your music for years, and rest in peace, Ozzy passed yesterday. So immediately we have to talk about that just because without Black Sabbath, I was really thinking about it. Of course, there's no Metallica and all that, but there's no quote unquote grunge music of the Seattle, that whole Mach 2 of that down tuning Dirgy, Melvins, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, and all of that, even though later you guys had Zeppelin and all that flavor in there, you know? It's really without them, you don't have any of that.
Man, I'm so grateful that I got to experience this kind of music firsthand. And I was born in 61. So, when I was 8 years old, I was hearing Hendrix coming out of my brother's room, my older brother. I have a brother now who's in his early 70s. So he was spinning those records as a teenager. And, when you're 8 years old and you don't have this real deep comprehension of music and you're hearing Hendrix, you're just like really trying to piece it together in your mind because you've never heard anything like it. And I remember the first time I heard Sabbath, man, I was at my friend's house up the street. He just got a new stereo for Christmas, right? New stereo in his room. And he put on The Wizard.
Oh,
And that was the first thing I heard. And I was like so captivated, like, that harmonica. And it's just another one of those times, yet another time where I just couldn't believe what was coming out of the speakers. And then as I delved into more of their stuff, that was music that, if I was alone at home and I had that music on, it scared the heck out of me.
oh yeah, yeah.
It's scary. And then you look at the album cover, like, whoa, I got goosebumps just talking about it right now. But yeah, those Bill and Geese and Tony and Ozzy, their contribution is immeasurable, man.
Oh man.
Immeasurable.
Did you guys ever tour with Ozzy or Sabbath on those reunion tours?
No, man. I never really officially met Ozzy or Tony, sadly. I met Geezer and Bill. I did a gig with Geezer once, and Bill happened to be recording at a studio I was working in, so I spent a fair amount of time with Bill. And yeah, man, I sadly never met Ozzy or Tony.
Wow, wow, man. And all the years you've been around rock and roll. It is crazy. And also how authentically two things that scared the shit out of me. One was the song Black Sabbath, and the other one was The Exorcist. And I think when you're young, you think the devil that could happen to you, you know?
Oh my God, The Exorcist.
Oh,
Yeah, that movie was woo. That was a that was a heavy movie, man. But yeah, Black Sabbath in particularly, that
yeah.
augmented half step was just like, whoa,
And the vocal just, what is this that stands
yeah,
before me?
nice job, dude.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
job. Or when he goes, "Oh God, help me!"
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, man.
it's incredible, man. Actually, I was out in my car yesterday running some errands, and I just had the whole Sabbath catalog on random, so it was all random stuff coming on all day. I just had it on. It was really, you know, it was a sad day, man. As I just said earlier, I never even met Ozzy, but he was in our DNA, man. He was a member of our home. He wafted through our bedrooms and our houses his music for decades. So you feel like you almost in a way know him, and we surely know what they meant to us, and that voice, and just all the feelings it evoked. And yeah, when someone like that goes, you're just like, wow, you feel like you lost a friend. And I never even met him.
Yeah, it was a kick to the gut yesterday. I mean, I got a text from somebody on the inside camp and I was like, "Oh, man." And just think, just 10 days after that mega farewell. Talk about actually perfect timing, man. You couldn't have done it any better, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. It's I don't think anybody was expecting that so soon.
no. So obviously you got an older brother. Everybody has an older brother or the older neighbor or whatever that turns you on to music. I often say the older brother should be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, for schooling so many people. It's always the older brother or the babysitter. But you're listening to that music. I'm going to be 60 in a few months, so we're around the same. At what point do you obviously find Led Zeppelin? Because one of the finest things about you and your playing and everything about it, songwriting, is the Zeppelinist, flavors of it. But it's you, but it definitely has that great, great flavor of Zeppelin, like Heart did in the, early days of like Barracuda and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I have that real vivid memory of the first time I heard Sabbath. I don't have such a I mean, I probably heard Zeppelin on you being 60 years old. I mean, you know, when I was out driving around with my mom and all that was in the car was an AM radio. We
Yeah.
didn't even have FM, right? However, on AM radio in the 70s, you could hear, you would hear Roundabout. Yes, you would hear Neil Young, you'd hear the Stones, you'd hear Aretha Franklin, Al Green, the Carpenters, Zeppelin, just on AM radio. That was popular music.
Yeah. Yeah. Jackson 5 into Black Dog. It's wild.
Yeah, man.
It's almost like what college radio is now. I love college radio. It's still around and you can get them on apps on your cell phone. So I listened to college radio that really opened my ears in the 80s of just so much different music from Dead Kennedys to Black Flag to Devo to, Neil Young. Whoever the
Yeah.
DJ was, that's what he spun.
Yeah, I think that's probably the first time I heard Zeppelin. I can imagine that the first song that I did hear by Zeppelin was, of course, Stairway.
Right, right. But it had to grab you, right? Was Page your guy?
Well, yeah, my goodness. Yeah, he yeah, I really breathed those records, man. Yeah, I mean, they were just so good, man. Just everything. I mean, just not Page. I mean, what each of those cats brought in was really something else, and you know what? It's interesting, man, because coming up when we did, I mean, I'm just a little bit older than you, but it really was like when gods walked the earth, man.
Oh, oh,
Right?
oh man, the
Like
concerts were like crazy, you
like
know?
they're not just the musicality or the music or these songs we were hearing, but their presentation, their physical appearances, their fashion choices was like, whoa, man, this is really.
Dragon pants, dude, that's all you got to say. I mean, when you see, like, I wanted to call my last special Dragon Pants just because when you see Dragon Pants on Jimmy, you're like, of course, And then you see that documentary, Mr. Jimmy, and he goes through the meticulous recreation of this dragon pants suit. You're going, imagine like Jimmy just meets this lady, goes, oh, the first one will have poppies. I'm kind of into dope and shit. The next one will be just full Zoso dragon and shit. And I'll wear this on stage at the garden, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I love that whole look he had around 77, like around Presents, where he had the white suit.
oh, killer.
That was really cool looking. But yeah, man, those cats were really something else, man. And
Did you see him?
yeah, what's that?
Did you ever see him?
I never did.
I didn't either. I saw Paige Plant, which was fucking insane with
Oh,
that
I saw
drummer.
that too. I
Yeah,
saw that too. I did see that in Vegas, the Page Plant thing.
unbelievable. And
Kind
then,
of
of
forgot
course,
about that.
the Black Crows and Page was insane too.
Yeah. We did a couple nights with Robert uh, up at Shoreline Amphitheater in San Fran. We did a couple nights with him, and it was really lovely because it was right around the time the Encomium record was
Right,
coming out. It hadn't come out yet. Um, the Encomium record being where it was the Zeppelin tribute record, and we
right.
did, of course, Dancing Days. And
Fantastic version, by the way, man. It was just
thank you.
Yeah, just the vocal choice of not being the wailer, um, just the way it was grooving and more kind of slippery. It was just so cool.
I uh, I played that for Robert, our version, off a cassette on our tour bus. I
Wow.
said, "Hey man, let me play this for you." We walked out to the bus and I put it on off a cassette. Those were the days, right?
Yeah.
And I went on to say, I said to him, I was like, "Have you heard anything else off the record? Have you heard, Sheryl Crow did a real cool version of, well, how I presented it was, have you heard Cheryl's Dyer Maker?" And he looks at me real cross, looks at me, goes, "Dyer Maker? It's Jamaica, mate." How many tens of thousands of kids have been calling that Dyer Maker? It's Jamaica, like Jamaica, cum.
I'm 59. I'm just finding that out right now. And I'm one of the biggest Zeppelin fans.
Well, I was very abruptly corrected by Mr. Plant.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. So you're getting into Zeppelin. First guitar. What was it?
my first guitar was an acoustic. It was a real junky guitar. I think it was like a $39 guitar in the late '60s or early '70s. It was really not a good guitar. But then when I got more serious, um, I wanted to get an electric guitar. I wasn't really interested in playing acoustic guitar, and I kind of my mom lined up for me to take some lessons from like a real folk singer guy, and I was just like, I want to I want to play in my time of dying, man. I want to play, you know. And my sister was married to this gentleman by the name of Paul Bogan, and they lived across the street from us. And they were a huge influence on me. They had a band. They actually made a record in the '70s called JC and the Bees, John Coleman and the Bogans. And so I looked up to these guys, and I would go over to their house, and they would have Stones and the Move posters everywhere, and all killer big Fisher stereos, and they would have their band set up down in the basement. I'm talking Ampeg amps and SG basses with curly cables, and it was like, wow. So Kevin, who was the drummer but also played guitar, they all were multi-instrumentalists. I bought Kevin's '68 Fender Mustang.
Wow.
So I bought a '68 Mustang. It was the Olympic white with the tortoise guard. I bought a Dan Electro 212 amp, everything there, totally straight, the right case, $85.
What?
Yeah. So that was my first real electric guitar. And
That's got to be weird because it's single coil, and that same kind of thing happened to me. I bought an Ampeg, and the guy goes, "You want the big speaker?" It was a 15, which is impossible to break up. So when you plug it in, you're not getting that. Like I was trying to get Angus Highway to Helltown, and I was like, "What's going on?" And then I got the MXR Distortion Plus pedal. But when you get your gear, right, your single coil, and you're like, "God, what is this?"
yeah, I didn't know any of that then. I
Neither did I.
I had no knowledge of single coil humbucker. I didn't know any of that. I I um I didn't really learn that stuff till later on. I just wanted to get my mid-tone electric guitar. And that was a really beautiful guitar, Fender Mustang. It was a great guitar. And sadly, I was up at the boardwalk one night. Our little town had the quintessential boardwalk with arcades and rides, and it was right up on the ocean. And we
Where
used to
was
go up
that?
there. What's that?
Where was that?
Point Pleasant Beach,
Oh, wow. Wow.
Jersey.
Yeah, yeah. I love those Jersey boardwalks.
Yeah, man. And there was a kid in town. His name was Chris, and he had a Sakova. It was a copy Les Paul.
Oh.
Well, I had seen Song Remains the Same at a midnight showing in like Belmar, and I was like, well, yeah, that's the guitar I need. I need a Les Paul. So I was up at the boardwalk one night, and Chris was walking. I was like, "Hey, man!" I'm like, "Hey," and he says to me, he goes, or maybe I said to him, I was like, I knew Chris had this Les Paul, although it was a copy,
Right. Was
Sokoba.
it like a Seville or?
It was a standard. It was like a copy of a Les Paul standard.
Right.
And I said, "Hey, do you still have your Sokoba?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, and I said, I was young,
Yeah.
and I said, "Do you want to trade for my Mustang?" He goes, "Yeah, let's do it right now." So we left the boardwalk. We did an even swap. So remember, it was just a guitar. I still had the amp. So I had the Les Paul for a while, and I used that. And I wound up selling this Sokoba Les Paul for $90, but
Oh,
I still had the amp.
right.
So
Yeah.
I bought the Fender and the amp for 85. So I made $5 and got to keep the amp.
Yeah. When you are at the peak of STP, do you ever end up owning a 59?
No,
Wow.
no, I'd be too freaked out about having a guitar with that kind of value. I like. I'm not that precious. I did have a little stint where I was so precious about guitars, but if I buy a guitar, it's meant to be played, and if it gets knocked around, or you know, I'm not a collector, man. I like using the stuff.
Yeah. The reason I'm talking so much Zeppelin, of course, you're in STP and you've had a lot of side projects and stuff after that, or new bands, not necessarily side projects, but you have this record out right now, and I put it on, and you know how it is. You got a guy who in this band for years, and they put stuff out, rarely does it knock you out. Like, Keith Richards' Talk is Cheap, masterpiece. You're like, oh my God. But I put this record out, One More Satellite, and uh, first of all, it just blew me away. It just had
Wow.
so much great. There's like this really cool mellow stuff on there. And I know it started out, it was going to be an instrumental, and then you sent it off to this guy, Peter Shoulder, and he put together some vocals. But, like Drowning Out the Sun, this is straight up just a beautiful Zeppelin-esque kind of early Iron, what is that heart song? Butterflies, it's kind of got that vibe. You've got the rotating speaker going, and I was just like, wow, this thing sounds great. And I listened to
Mm.
it all the way through twice, and I really
Wow.
Paper over the cracks, Serenade, definitely just this beautiful thing. And then what's the last song, On Call or something?
Your call.
Your Call, man. I'm like, wow, this is a beautiful record. It really is. I was like, oh my God, this is so good.
Well, Dean, you've just proven to me you have far too much time on your hands to be able to listen to that record twice.
Well, you know what? I listened to it the first time through because I was going to talk to you, and then I was like, "Hey, you know what, man? I want to listen to this again just because the tones, the songs, and then the vocals had this kind of familiar flavor, but I couldn't really pinpoint it. But it's just a beautiful kind of Zeppelin meets Heart meets, Pilot's second record, Purple, that kind of, Interstate Loves, that kind of thing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Now, who is Peter Shoulder?
Uh, so Pete was in a band called the Union,
Oh, yeah.
and the
Oh, was
latest
that
thing
with
he
what's his name from Kiss?
I don't think so.
No, wait,
No,
wait.
the Union was kind of around in the 80s.
Oh, I got you. Bruce Cooley
And
had a band. I think it was called like the Union or something like that.
oh, I'm not sure, man. But and then the last thing Pete did, he was with a band called Sloper, I think.
Right.
Um, but yeah, he also sang on Robert's first record, my brother's record, Lessons Learned.
Right.
So we've known Pete for quite some time, and just, what can I say? I love his voice. I love what he brings to the table. So yeah, this I'm feel very, very fortunate as someone who hands over music to somebody and they just take it to this next level. And Pete surely is capable of that, as you can hear.
Yeah. Now,
Listen, Dean, I'm merely the guy that stands next to the singer, man.
but I mean, wow, the guy delivered, and then your son and your daughter play on it, which is cool. Your son plays drums on it. Your daughter,
Yeah, Rocco's on Drowning Out the Sun, actually.
right. Now, how
Rocco's
old
on
is
three
he?
tracks. June does this really beautiful "Ah" and "Your Call" during the second chorus, and yeah, Mr. Kretz. I got
Yeah.
the great Mr. Kretz, Eric Kretz on Serenade,
Yeah.
and the great Brian Tishy is on the rest.
It's funny. I met Eric. I lived in San Francisco most of my life, and I'm in this Chinese restaurant, and this guy walks in, he sits next to me, and I look over, and it's him. And I didn't even know he lived in San Fran during the height of Stone Temple Pilots. So we started
Yeah,
talking. He goes, "Yeah, I live up the neighborhood. We're in Potrero Hill." And I was like, "What?"
yeah,
So wild.
yeah.
Does he still have a studio? Is this where you did the record?
No, he doesn't have that studio any longer. I did this record. So I really have to give a big hats off to a gentleman who was an integral part of not only this record, but the Trip the Witch record, the Perdita record with STP. That would be Mr. Ryan Williams.
Right.
He is just boy, he is an integral part of the records I make. And fortunately for me, he's within a 10-minute drive from my house, and he has a great studio at his place. We're unable to cut drums there. It's more of a studio to do vocals, guitars, percussion. The only thing we can't cut are drums. And we did that out at
Got you.
Stagg Street Studio. Great, great studio out in Van Nuys, I guess it would be. And that's where we cut Rocco's drums, and that's where we cut Rocco's drums. But Kretz does have another studio at his house now. I don't know if you're talking about that one. He did have
Downtown.
one downtown called Bomb Shelter.
Right. Right. That one. Yep.
That's where we did a few of the STP records, but he no longer has it. But Eric has a beautiful studio at his house
Wow.
where we cut the drums for Serenade, and then Tishy, we cut the drums at his place at his house.
Right. Right. Out there in the valley, deep valley.
Deep Valley.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now Tishy's house is incredible, man, because let's just put it this way: Tishy's end tables are floor toms.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I went out one day. I went to his house one time to interview all the guys. They were doing Kiss Alive 2 at the Whiskey. Rex from Pantera. And it was like a one nighter. So I went and interviewed all four of them.
At
And,
Tishy's house?
yeah. And they were just rehearsing in the living room. Cold gin time.
Oh yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Now, you have definitely worked with one of my favorite producers of all time, Brendon O Brien. And have you talked to that guy in years?
Man, as I spoke about Ryan earlier, Brendan was a real integral part of those records we made. He made it, capital FUN.
Yeah.
It was just such a wonderful, great experience making those records with Brendan. And what even means more to me, what came out of that, is that I can call him a friend.
Right.
And I haven't seen Brendan in a little while. Actually, Pete and I were in Studio City recently. We had lunch with my son Rocco, and we after lunch, Rocco kind of went to his car, and Pete and I started walking, and we're walking down the main street. I guess it's Ventura Boulevard. I guess from
Right.
Studio City. And walk down, and I hear Dino. Like, who the fuck calls me Dino? Right? I'm like, look, and it's Brendon.
Wow.
So
Wow.
he went up the street and pulled over. So I got to introduce Pete to Brendon, and I was like, Dino? What's
I'll tell you what,
So it
that
was really great to see him, and yeah, we of course with Brendon we had a laugh, and yeah, it was fun, man.
that guy's knowledge of gear and tone and recording is unbelievable. His gear collection is insane.
Yeah, man, he's so awesome, man. Just yeah, he made making those records a total blast, man, a total blast, and yeah,
Well,
big part of STP.
when you listen to them sonically, they're right now, they're just unbelievable. They're not dated. There's not like, oh, that's the old such and such era, you know? They just sound like incredible rock records.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that you know, I don't think we ever wanted to be we never wanted to use really a flavor of the month sound or a flavor of the month, production trick. It was just, let's, and that just goes back to the records meaning you and I grew up on, man. Those records are timeless.
Yeah, they really are. And well, also the songwriting, without the songs, we wouldn't be talking about Stone Temple Pilots at all. Because there was a lot of bands in that era that came out, a lot. And the ones that are, there, I mean, you think about like I would say about six of your songs are classic rock songs now. That's how old they are, and that's how much they're played, you know? I know I'm old too, but the songs come on and you go, "Oh, fuck yeah," you know? It's wild. Even like one of my favorites was Sour Girl, which was a late
Mm.
and such a different flavor. But you just hear it and you go like, "Oh yeah, without these songs, you you're not talking about any bands without the songs." That's all
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, it really does come down to the songs. But, I just love so many different types of music, man. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about, driving around in mom's car when, you're in fifth and sixth grade and she's taking you shopping for school clothes or whatever it is. And you just, what we were being fed in the early 70s, late 60s was some of the best songwriting, man.
Oh,
You know, you and I really attribute a lot of what Robert and I were listening to was what my mom was playing, my sisters were playing, my brother, my older brother, and we were just getting inundated with all types of music, man.
yeah. Oh yeah, man, the flavors. I mean, also growing up in the Bay Area around Bill Graham, he was just infamous of putting these packages together of like this band with this band. Like I just talked to Lou Graham yesterday, and here's the bill when I saw Foreigner on Foreigner 4. It was Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, and then it went into Scorpions Blackout Tour, into Loverboy's first record, which is a smasher, into Foreigner 4. That was the bill for the day.
Wow.
So you're seeing crazy metal,
Wow.
and then you're going into Loverboy working for the weekend and Hot Girls in Love and all that, and to Foreigner Urgent and stuff. But all of that is geared around songwriting. If you look at it from Blackout to Run to the Hills,
Yeah.
those are, totally different than Urgent, but they're all just these songs that are just great songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Great songs are great songs, man.
That's it. That's it, man. Now, you think you'll tour this at all or play live this record?
We're gonna do some shows in November
Oh, where
on the
at?
West Coast here. I think maybe 3 to 5 shows, and yeah, we'll see what happens from there. We may do more. It's Yeah, I mean, the more the record catches on, the more touring we'll be doing, you know. It's an independent release, so um yeah. But right now we're looking at 3 to 5 dates in November.
Where at? I live in LA, so
Oh man, well we're going to be doing something in like Orange County, LA, and then maybe Santa Barbara or San Fran. So we'll be right here, man. Possibly a show in Vegas.
oh man, get my info and hit me. I'll come to the LA gig. I'd love to see it.
Absolutely, man. I think we might be playing Hotel Cafe.
Oh, great. That's up the street from my house.
Oh, nice.
I do comedy there. I love that place.
Is it cool?
Oh, dude, it's iconic. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
It's an iconic room. So many famous gigs there, you know?
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
great room.
Yeah, I think we're going to be doing that in November. And yeah, really looking forward to that.
Who did the album cover? I love the art.
Uh, this very, very talented young gal by the name of Erica Schiff.
Wow.
Uh, Extraordinarily talented gal.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Isn't it amazing?
It really is because it's kind of got, I'm way into like, you know, Todd Shore, Mark Ride and that, like, that kind of art. And then the simplicity of it, it's just kind of, it's like a bird looking robot or something. And then the writing and then the colors. The colors are great.
Yeah.
Just tan, you know?
Yeah, she's really a talent. And she's an extraordinary musician as well.
Wow. Wow, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
So yeah.
Let me ask you a question before we get out of here. I had seen Stone Temple Pilots on the Butthole Surfers tour, Greek theater in
Oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah, in Berkeley. I recently played that place. Oh my God, it was beautiful and mind-boggling. Just to look out there and there's like students living up in those apartments in the back.
Yeah.
Do you feel, and I always felt like, do you think that that tour was the beginning of Scott's problems?
Oh, that was early on.
Right.
We played that. That was we were touring
Butthole
the
Surfers.
core record with, yeah. Um, well, I don't know, man. Uh I guess things started coming unhinged there, but they really come became it was quite a chore. Let's just put it this way: it was quite a chore for Brendon to keep moving forward, making the Purple record. That's when it was really, really difficult and really, really hard on Brendon as well as all of us. It was a tough time, man.
Yeah.
Brendon. We were in Atlanta making that record, so Brendon's fairly well known around Atlanta, so he was getting calls. Oh boy, your boy's on the floor over here,
Yeah. 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 Man, what a record you got out of it though. Woo.
Yeah.
I love that video, Interstate. Where's that? Joshua Tree?
You know what? Where the heck did we do that? Man, I forget where we did that.
I love it. Rock and roll.
Yeah, Kevin Kerslake did that one.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, Kevin,
yeah,
that's right.
I wrote to Kevin a couple months back. I was like, man, I sure do miss you and making videos with you, man. It just was such an amazing time coming out of those early 90s, everybody making videos and like, what an amazing concept, MTV, and how did that go away?
I know. What a crime. Reality TV happened and they just deserted it. They should have just, they should have just had the second channel.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever, man. I was glued to it.
Oh God.
I was glued to it. Like I'd wait to see a Bowie video or something, and it was just the coolest thing, man.
Oh, to see before that, you'd only see him in Circus Magazine or live, you know?
Circus or Cream.
That's it. Circus, Cream, Hit Parader, occasional Rolling Stone in between the Vietnam War stories.
Yeah.
And then this thing comes on, and you know, I go see Van Halen on the Fair Warning tour 3 nights. They do those videos and they're playing. I'm like, oh my God, this is love, Unchained. Like you're
Yeah,
seeing,
man.
oh, there's Devo, Whip It, like just unbelievable.
Wasn't it awesome? I thought that was going to be here to stay, and it was such a great thing. But of course, at that time, it's just interesting because what I said about earlier, these videos that I'm making now for One More Satellite.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't be the only one to say this, but all the bands that were around in the early '90s that kind of caught the tail end of video budgets and tour budgets, and people were getting two, three, four, $500,000 to make videos.
I know. Now we do it on an iPhone,
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
There's
But think
two.
about that. But think
There's,
of that madness, like spending a couple $100,000 for a video. So, you know, you can look at it two ways. It was just why did it cost so much? It just
yeah.
and that was probably a big part of the demise.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like bloated budgets with bloated crews. You'd be like, what are those 9 guys over there doing? They're just eating donuts, and it's crazy, right? It's just everybody had their hands in the fire. And I think it was a lot of like, just keep the band in debt and then they'll owe us forever.
Yeah, yeah, that sure was probably a bit of a play into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was quite a time for being affiliated with a major label.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
uh
I
it
think
was
the
a
good
good time.
thing about the videos, though, was back then they were films. You
Yeah.
know, they were films. Like, look at Interstate. It's a journey. It's cool looking and everything. Look at Tool with like stuff off Undertow with the claymation and shit. And
Now Adam did that stuff,
I
man.
know, and it's just like these things are works of art, man.
Yeah, Adam's really, God, he's a very talented guy. Those videos are really, really works of art, man. Really,
Oh,
really
I love
incredible. But yeah, it was a really cool time, man, because there was a lot of people, filmmakers, able to be expressive and bring their what they do into it. And we made our, Graham Joyce, we did the Creep video with Josh Taft, Kevin Kerslake.
Yeah, Fincher was doing
Uh,
videos. He did the Wallflowers. These guys were all doing video. That's where they cut their teeth before they got into full filmmaking.
yeah, man. Yeah, it was a fun time, man. It was really fun. And
Yeah. What's up with the pilots? You guys you do weekend dates, fly-ins?
yeah, we're just the rest of the years just weekends, fly out and do these one-offs of like different festivals and stuff like that. And then we're finishing the year off. We're going to do a little halftime event at the Raiders game
Oh,
on December 7th.
oh wow. On the field?
Yeah, it won't be televised, but we'll go live out to the whoever's attending.
Wow.
Yeah,
Just playing full on, just in the middle of in the 50-yard line?
I'm not sure. I'm
How
not
many
sure where it's going to be,
songs?
but yeah.
How many songs?
Well, ironically, it'll be the first time in our career we have to compile a medley.
Oh yeah. There you go. There you go. There you
So we
go.
have to compile a 9-minute medley. So I've been kind of laying it out, and I kind of have it laid out. And the last gig we did, I had a guitar in my hand, and I kind of showed the guys, because you want to make sure certain keys work going into each other. So I showed them what I had in mind. They're like, oh yeah, that's going to be great.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, your brother's a big architecture freak like myself. We bonded over mid-centuries and stuff years ago.
Yeah.
Did you get that bug?
Uh, you know, when Robert is passionate about something, he really delves in, man. Like he really delves in and he becomes somewhat of an expert on it.
Right.
Where I I see if let's just put it this way. If I was to decorate a home, I would have to have somebody come in and be like, you need to do this. Here's what I'm thinking. Do it. Because I just love everything.
Yeah.
Like I love that 30s look. I love mid-century. I love, ultra modern. I love that, ranch chic. I love it all. And I'm like, if I got involved, it would look like a hodgepodge of all those things I just mentioned, where, um, Robert's really focused as to what is period and what is not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He and I definitely bonded over that. Do you have anything that you collect, like cars or watches or motorcycles or anything? Or were you just like, let's play rock and roll?
Um, I've collected some guitars and amps over the years. No, I'm not I don't collect cars and I don't collect watches, but I have, more or less not to be a collector, but more of like, oh, this is going to be great in the studio. Oh, this thing, like nothing's going to really replicate that sound.
Yeah,
Um,
just
and
tool.
I'm going to see if I can turn this around here. Hang on. How do I do that?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So here you go.
Oh yeah, look at that. The old K guitar, awesome. Cheryl Crow's a big K person. Yeah, double Ks. Wow.
Well,
Uh-oh. Triple K? Wow. Well, there's a pool table. Oh, there you go. Man, you got the four corners of K.
yeah, man.
Wow. That's great, man.
So I have collected a fair amount of these Ks. Um, yeah,
I worked with that producer, Bill Bottrell, who did the Giant 2 Sheryl Crow records, the first two. And he is a K freak, dude. He got Cheryl into that bass, the K bass.
yeah.
Those are classic. Where was K? You not US?
They were US.
Right. And sold at Sears?
No, I don't think K was sold at Sears.
That's
The
Silvertone also. I know that.
Silvertone and Harmony.
Right, right.
Yeah.
K's interesting, man, because they just not talked about a lot, but boy, do they have a sound.
Well, actually, that was one of the guitars used on Paper Over the Cracks.
Right.
The right guitar was this entry level K that was probably $39.
Wow.
And there's just no replicating that sound. That thing was a son of a gun to keep in tune throughout that track. I had to stop a couple of occasions to retune because it would just go out of tune so quickly, or I had to almost tune it to where I was playing. But it really has a sound. But that's what I used on that track.
Well, I got to tell you, I love this record. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Hotel Cafe. Let me know when it is. I'll come down.
I will, man.
And one last question. Back in the day, did you ever spend time down in Tijuana at Iguanas, that rock club?
I never went to Iguanas. I know Robert and Scott went and saw the Chili Peppers down there eons ago.
Right.
Uh, I oh wait, did we play there?
That place is wild.
I never went.
All out, crazy.
Yeah, south of the border right there was a little too hectic for my liking.
Oh yeah, it was pretty gnarly. But man, once you were in iguanas, it was just no rules. Dive off the rafters, hands were on 10, and you could drink no matter what age.
Funny.
Good talking to you. If you want to come to the comedy store anytime, hit me up. Come see some comedy.
I will. Thank you, Dean.
Yeah, thanks for doing the show. And
Of course, man.
I really appreciate it. One more time, it is called One More Satellite. It is out right now on all the streaming platforms. And you got some videos coming from it?
Yeah, there's a couple of videos up. Paper Over the Cracks. There's a lovely little video up on YouTube, and there's a video up for Can of Worms done by the very talented Waco Sanchez and his wife Sarah Cerna. They actually did the Trip the Witch video as well. Saturn, we miss you. So yeah, they're super lovely people. I love them dearly, and they did a real nice video for Can of Worms.
Right on, man. Well, thank you so much for doing the show. I will see you at your gig.
Sounds great, man.
See you later, Dean.